Hi students, I want to talk about your final assignment. This drawing is worth 200 points, so twice what the other ones were worth. It is your final, you're at the end of the semester. On the Canvas website, under assignments or modules, you'll find the assignment. It's called White Still Life. There are 3 white pots. There is a cow skull and a set of deer antlers coming out of the small pot in the front. I have 2 images you can choose from. The shadows are slightly different on each one. And then also I've included a few drawings. Here's a cow skull with horns, and here are 2 pictures. And the reason I wanted to talk to you today is because the still life is white. Does not mean that you will not use a completely full value range. If we look here at the ball drawing that you did early on, you can see that this ball has some pure white, but also some very dark values, reflected light and shadows. So when you're doing objects that have similar values, there are varieties of cream, you still want to have personalities that are different for each object. And then at the edges, you want to have high contrast. So the back picture is very white, and then the one in front, the spout, is very dark against that. And that's really what you want. Notice also the background is a gray, and it's not competing with any of these values, the dark shadows or the really white whites. So I want the same still life composition. You can enlarge it and trace it if you want, but I want the objects in the same relationships. So this is the size of your still life as far as how it sits on your paper. You're not going to have a lot more ground or a lot more background than you're seeing right here. I want you to particularly be careful when you're looking at negative spaces. Look how much it tells you about the shapes. You've got some cinnamon sticks here. We don't need to have a bunch of black lines. You can show us a little bit of the negative spaces, see where the light's showing through, especially on the edge. So in a still life, you are assigning different values for your own purpose. Drawing a still life is not the same as taking a photograph of a still life. We are using only black and white, and so it's very important that each object has a little bit of its own personality. We don't want to see every seed on the strawberry. So for example, in this first pot here, it has a crackle finish. A few crackles are good. The antler has a lot of texture. And then look at the bottom here, it also has a shadow. Look at the shadow of the cinnamon sticks here on the back face. This face actually has some imagery on it, some large diamond shapes. So what we don't want is every single line that you see black against a white object. So you can see how many different values are in here, in the shadows, on the objects, the highlights, the highlights at the rounder parts of the skull. See how bright that is? So I want to go over the instructions with you, and you will have this later today. So the first